Yo, it's MOPOWERZ, and we are BACKAGAIN back in the LAB on another LIVE. And if this is your first time watching the MOPOWERZ, I ask that you share the information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. It is a magnificent way to jumpstart your conversation. But before we get started with this evening conversation, tonight's conversation, I want to go over two videos that were sent to me. Thanks for sending the videos. And one of those videos is in regards to what had happened to that lady in Florida, West Palm Beach. You know how you have those drawbridges that grow up and down? Well, a lady in West Palm Beach, that was coming from Palm Beach, walking over the bridge in the biking lane with her bike, going over to West Palm Beach, was on Royal Park Bridge. And the bridge, for some reason, went up while the lady was on it. She tried to hang on, but could not hang on and fell to her death on impact, 50 to 60 feet beneath the drawing of that bridge. Now, according to West Palm Beach authorities, they are investigating the hired contractor bridge draw enterprise, which are like bridge tenders to let the bridge go up, to make it go down, turn on the signs of the bridge, tell people when to go, when to not to go. I mean, this is a tragic death. I mean, like, I've never heard of that. I've heard people jumping from bridges before, but I've never heard of the drawbridge going up with someone on it that was in the biker's lane walking their bike across the bridge and fell to their death. Tragedy. Now, the people who are contracted for that job position, as I stated, is Drawbridge Enterprises, and they are responsible for tendering the bridge. Who's out there? Oh, damn, that's been a crazy bridge. Yeah, so needless to say, you all, be careful when you're on those bridges. Make sure that you look out for the signs and do not cross, or just be careful, because freaky things are happening on bridges, not to mention the fact that bridges across America that don't draw, that don't draw up, they say are really dangerous because they're really not safe. Years ago, they had that bridge that fell in on 94 in Minneapolis. Do you all remember that? And there was another bridge that caved in maybe 2 years ago. It was in the South. Can't exactly remember what state, but it was the South. And the second story that someone sent me was regarding this 25-year-old man by the name of Brandon Isabel. Brandon Isabel from Memphis, Tennessee, dumped his 2-day-old baby in the Mississippi River. And right before he did that, what did he do? He killed the baby's mama, lured her out to some place, Wolfpack Circle, Wolf Ridge Circle, something like that. But I'll show you the story. But yeah, and shot her in the head. Some say that it could be related to a love triangle, and he probably thought that the baby wasn't his, or whatever it was. They say that he didn't have any mental incapacities. 25 years old, never had a police record. It's crazy what love would make you do. Be careful out there who you lay with. That's the best that you can do, because people out there go psycho. People go psycho. Just watch the Oxygen Channel. I mean, for real. Punani get you killed, and Beef will get you killed. Sad. If you didn't Now, if it was his baby and he didn't want the kid, he just should have left the girl alone. But I don't think that it was that, and neither do the authorities yet. They are still investigating. But I agree with other people that was interviewed by the Memphis Police Department, and they said that it was a possible love triangle. And when you're in a love triangle, that can possibly happen. People go bananas. You know what I'm saying? The nun, just like the nun went bananas. The story about the nun in Torrance, California, who stole over $835,000 to pay off her gambling debts. She swindled money from tuition and donations accounts, switched them to her personal account, and even ordered the staff members to throw away financial records and transactions of paperwork when it came to them being audited. And the nun was the principal of a school, a Catholic school, none other than St. James Catholic School in Torrance, California, which is not too far from LA. If you ever been out to LA, you know exactly where Torrance, California is at. You probably drove by St. James Catholic School, where the nun just ripped them off. Ripped them off. You can't trust anybody today. And then you see on the highways at the Catholic priests, you know, the big billboards that you have on the freeway, you have the Catholic Church talking about we need people to come back to the Catholic Church. This is another good reason why people should stay away from the Catholic Church. People like this nun. Hey, from the looks of it, if they're not swindling you out of money, they're pedophiling your children. Hey, that's just been the record and history of the Catholic Church when it comes to bad things coming out about what they've been doing behind them closed doors with them little boys. She just got busted. Think about it. None gambling. I mean, she would feel her lavish lifestyles, take trips, casino. God was nowhere in the picture. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it's good to be back, you all. I've been rolling. Just got off the road a little while ago. Back in the land of the living. Yeah, so my other channel, the Mo Show Chicago, I haven't neglected the channel. I've been posting videos up there. I'll get back to it in a minute. But I'm posting these lives up like I said that I would every day. And I would probably be doing 2 or 3 lives for the rest of the week just to make up for the 2 days that I missed. But that's what I say, and I really mean what I say. But sometimes life takes its course and you just can't make it. Okay? But the meat of this conversation of this LIVE is about that event, that tragic event that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota with Amir Locke. Latest update, they have caught and apprehended the targeted person that was on the warrant. And that was his cousin. And his cousin goes by the name of Mekhi C. Speedy. And he's 17 years old. 17 years old. Wanted for the death, for killing another black man in St. Paul by the name of Otis R. Elbert, 38 years old. Now, according to witnesses that was on the phone right before Elbert died by the hand, allegedly by the hand of Mekhi Speedy, the person who was on the phone with Otis Elbert said that it sounded like they were making a drug transaction. Maybe so, but needless to say, this took place in the back of a music recording studio outside. Not to mention the fact that Mekhi C. Speedy has a record of shooting people. He was on probation for just shooting another teenager in the leg at a gas station. And then he was sent off to get some counseling for traumatization and mental therapy. And after that, this is when he killed Otis Elbert. So, and needless to say, he caused the death. Excuse me, he did not cause the death. He did not cause the death. However, he was in and out of the same apartment that his cousin, Amir Locke, was in when the Minneapolis Police Department did a no-knock warrant and fatally shot and killed Amir Locke. Could you imagine how Speedy could feel, Mekhi Speedy, knowing that, you know, it's just sad. How do you deal with that? You know, how do you deal with the fact that they killed your cousin thinking that it was you, but they're the police? Needless to say, they wasn't supposed to have a no-knock warrant anyway. What do you think about no-knock warrants? They should be banned, just from my standpoint. I mean, a no-knock warrant actually gives the police authority just to come in your house anytime that they want to. Like they did that lady in Chicago, just tore down a door, kicked it open, traumatized her and everybody that was in her house. And the police left like it was nothing. And nothing happens to these police. Well, in the case of Breonna Taylor, you know, another no-knock warrant. This gives the police just to come in your house anytime that they want to. Get a key like they did. They got a key from the apartment manager, the apartment complex. How did they get the key? I'm just saying. You know, like, what was the former vice president name? What was his name? Yeah, the guy from Indiana, Donald Trump, best friend. Yeah, when he was the governor over in Indiana, oh, he gave residents the absolute full right to blast the police dome off if they come into their house like that. Shouldn't all states adopt that same policy? Should they not adopt that same policy? When you have a no-knock warrant, you wake people up from their sleep, but you can have a no-knock warrant and people waiting for you to come through the door because they did what they call a pre-dawn raid. A pre-dawn raid right before dawn, catch you, you know, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's when they come. And in this case, they jack themselves up, shooting the wrong person. Needless to say that, according to the reports, they say that the gun was also found that shot and killed Otis R. Elbert in St. Paul. They say they found the gun. That's what they say. So what's the next step here? Do you or do you don't agree with no-knock warrants? That's the question for the night. And police reform. Right now, they're talking about defunding the police in Minnesota like they did last year, you know, with the George Floyd case. But that never happened. But maybe it happened after this year, seeing that how many more Black men have been fatally shot and killed by Minneapolis police since the death of George Floyd. It got so bad that the police chief, Arredondo, had to step down. He had to quit. He could not face those mothers anymore for the brutal slayings that was done by his KKK police officers. I'm just saying. And it even gets worse in Minneapolis because now they have a what do they call him, an interim police chief, right? And this chick, she is going to hire a field officer who was a fired officer. She's going to bring a fired officer back on the force and make him a field officer. Wasn't Derek Chauvin a field officer at the time when he had his knee on George Floyd's neck? I'm just saying. And she's bringing him back. He was fired, and he was a part of what Minneapolis call the Metro Gang Squad. Yeah, the Metro Gang Squad. Police have names for their squad, even like that squad, the executioners that they have over there in LA. Yeah, I did a story on that, but they jacked my story. I may do it over again, you know. I played myself, so to say. They say some copyrights thing was, you know. But needless to say, what do you think about reform and no-knock warrants? I mean, like, how many times or years does it take for police to not kill Black people that's unarmed? And even if they are armed, do you have to kill them? Like in the case of Amir Locke, he was in his place of residence with his own gun that was legal. And they woke him up in the middle of the night. It was like somebody was breaking into him. But they killed him. They keep talking about police reform for years. It's common sense for a person not to shoot another person. It's common sense. And all of these government officials, a lot of government officials, like Mayor Fry, he even gave the Minneapolis Police Department the green light to do that because he didn't do anything about it. Just like the Attorney General for Minneapolis gave them the green light to do what they're doing because, you know, and they're still on their job, meaning, you know, the mayor, they had to fire the Attorney General. Yeah, he's on his job. But Mayor Fry, they are calling for him to step down. He has got to go. He is a part of this. He is a part of this. How can you, Mayor Fry of Minneapolis, have all of these murders on your hand as the, you know, chief of the city? Because the governor is the chief of the state. But you being the chief of the city, how many murders have taken place on your watch? Continuously. It doesn't take laws for a person not to shoot you. Do you see Black police shooting white people? Do you see Black police shooting white people? And if they did, do you think they'll get away with it? Now, I've seen some Black police who shoot Black people and get away with it. If you have one case where you had the Black police shoot a white civilian, what was their outcome? What was their outcome? Look, you want police reform? Well, you have to get rid of the whole police force that you have now, because the majority of them are recruited, you know, from KKK, or they are already KKK and they join the police force with hatred and anger to do wrong to Black people and get away with it because that's the way the system works, because that's how white supremacy works. Just think, if you kill somebody white, how much time will you get? Will they find you not guilty? Will they lynch you physically, like put you behind the bars for the rest of your life? Who's that there? I appreciate everybody out there in the chat room. Thanks for viewing, you all. Yeah, you know, like I said, I just got off the road and I just, you know, these are articles that I was reading, and two of those topics that I spoke about, somebody sent them to me, the videos. Thanks for the recommendations. Yeah. There's no need for police reform. It is a need to defund the police, according to Minneapolis. What do you, Minneapolis, the citizens, what do you think? Do you think that defunding the police should be across the nation? Even people in Oregon and Seattle, those white people are not going for none of that nonsense with the police. In fact, about it, Oregon is proposing a law that will prohibit police from stopping you for minor traffic stops. Yeah, that should be nationwide too. It's sad that they have to cheat you to beat you. They have to cheat you to beat you. You don't need police reform. You need to get rid of all of the police that you got. All of the bad apples, all of the bad superintendents, all of the bad police has got to go. Because if they don't go, it's going to be more violence against the police. That's not me speaking. That's just actual facts. You have people all over the nation right now who are not afraid of the police and will shoot the police and shoot at the police. And some people who shoot at the police, if you're white, you might get away with it. I'm just saying. What they say, if you're white, you all right. If you're brown, stick around. But if you're black, step back, right? If you're white, you might be right. And speaking of police reform, what about community policing? Meaning that where you live, you police your own community. Because that's what it's going to come down to if police are defunded. Should they be defunded in Minneapolis? Should they be defunded in the state that you live in? It's a question, not a statement. It's a question. What's your viewpoint on that? What's your viewpoint on no-knocks? Should no-knock warrants and raids be banned across country? It's a question, not a statement. It's a question. Do you think police reform will ever be right in this country? That's a question, not a statement. Leave your comments in the comment section with that one. It's your brother, the MOPOWERZ, where knowledge is power. Remember, it is your third eye that makes you shine like jewelry. And tomorrow, we have great lives coming up for you. 2 great lives, very heavy information. So be prepared. We will be back around 1 p.m. or noon tomorrow. Just look for the notification. It's your brother, MOPOWERZ. Thanks for viewing, you all, and peace out.